What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
The
I'm curious, Terrence, to hear about your experiences with the game you've been playing this week, Pyre, which you frantically told me that I needed to download while it was on sale for $8.99, and I informed you that I've had it owned it for about a year, and I just haven't played it yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, you should play it. It's well, the first thing I noticed is very, very text heavy, which I'm not a huge fan of because you're doing a lot of reading. And I don't remember doing that much reading in the other. What's the name of the company? Supergiant Games. It's really text heavy, but once you get into the actual gameplay, which is essentially like the sport thing, it's kind of like remember Speedball on Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo? Ever play that game?
Vaguely.
It's kind of like that, but it's or like ice hockey. You have 3 people on each team. And as you go through the story mode, you pick up more people for your team. The story is you're in this place called the Underworld. I don't remember the name of it. And you play these games called Trials, or you know what? I'm lying. I forgot the name of the things. But you play this. It's essentially a sport to get your to gain favor with the people above you, so you can actually leave this underground world. So far the story's pretty good. I don't like reading a lot, but I'm doing it. The actual gameplay itself is really fun because the people you pick up, they all have different attributes, and you can like you can tailor your team to your play style. So you can have like 3 really fast guys on your team, which is what I do. Like speed over power. Or you can have like a powerful team, and character has these things called auras. An aura around a character basically prevents the other team from getting past that. It's a lot. I'm not explaining it very well. It's just a very good game. Music's great. You should play it.
Yeah, I've watched gameplay of it. It does look very interesting. It's just I bought it because it was on sale. I think I bought it for like $10 when it was on sale, and it just kind of fell off my radar. I'm sure I was probably neck deep into Destiny because it was probably around the time Forsaken came out, and
there's also there's a multiplayer. Well, it's versus. There's a versus mode where you can just couch co-op. I mean, I got couch co-op, but it's a versus couch. I don't know if you can play online.
Well, and what's interesting too that I heard about the game is that like advancing in the story is not tied to performance. Like losses don't stop you from advancing in the game; they just change the story in different ways. And I remember reading articles about people because apparently like you talk to the team that you're about to face right like before the match, and so like people were like I was like almost like contemplating like throwing matches because I felt really bad like the story that they told me before the match started that I wanted the other team to win.
Yeah, fuck them. I want to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't lost the match yet, but like you can go into practice, kind of like get your strategies together before you actually go into like the real matches. It's fun, man. It's beautiful to look at. It's really fun. I want to play against a real person because there's a lot of it's super simplistic, but I can tell there's a lot of depth to it because you level your characters up and they have different like moves and things that they can use to actually score. But it's pretty fun. I put about 5 hours into it so far, and I think it's like 25-30 hours, which is a lot considering.
I mean, I really want to play their new game, but damn if I'm going to be playing anything on a PC. So
what's their
I can wait for
Hades. Have to wait, yeah.
What's it called?
Hades? Called Hades. It's a roguelike game from them. It's kind of released in early access. They're still developing it as it goes along, but it seems pretty cool. But like I said, I'm not playing it on a computer, so it can wait till it's done, and then they'll release it on PS4, and I'll play it as intended. Tetris 99 had the second event that they've ever done. I completely missed the first one. It flew under the radar, but this one I really wanted to play because if you got 100 points during the event, you would get the Game Boy Tetris skin for the game. The first time they've had a skin on offer that I could see. And during the event, you got to play in that style. So like when I was playing in the event, it was literally like the Game Boy graphics. It had the Game Boy music. It had that weird like sheep, like whenever you got a Tetris. in the game that the Game Boy version had. It was very strange, but a lot of fun. Now, thing with Tetris 99, I've talked on the show before. I'm very good at Tetris 99. The most successful battle royale game that I've ever played by any stretch of the imagination.
Wow.
And so, I was looking to see. So to earn the skin, to unlock the skin, you had to get 100 points in order to do that. And the way you got points is by finishing in certain places in the matches. So, like, if you won a match, you get 100 points straight off the bat, and you would unlock the skin right away. But a top 10 finish would get you 20 points. A top 20 finish would get you 10, and then the returns, diminish from there. Now, unfortunately, this weekend for me, very busy weekend. I had a christening that I became a godfather this weekend to my best friend's goddaughter, and I had to work on Saturday, and then Saturday night I went to NXT, which was a lot of fun, by the way, really good fucking time. And I guess I could talk about that after this on our video game / wrestling podcast. But I was like, I'm not gonna have a lot of time to play, but if you finish top 10, like, you get 20 points. All I have to do is play 5 matches and I'll unlock this skin. This is no problem. No.
Much like a Marvel villain, Brad's greatest weakness is his hubris.
It very much so. What I was not expecting, and what I should have expected, because I'm an idiot, is that the event brought all of the sweaty Tetris players out to congregate together, and man, oh man, I was having a hell of a fucking time trying to do well in Tetris 99 this week. So I did not get the skin because I just didn't have enough time to play. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. So if you are playing Tetris 99 and you do any of the event weekends, prepare to get your ass kicked. Just an FYI, because even for someone who is a very good player, and I'm not, I'm not being falsely modest. I'm good at Tetris 99. I was having fucking trouble playing this weekend. So there's that. Before Micah talks about Guacamelee, actually, this will be a good transition into Guacamelee. NXT was really fun, guys. If NXT ever comes to your town, I highly recommend it. I got to see all my favorites there this weekend. All the Undisputed Era were involved in matches. Shayna Baszler, really impressive in person. She's gotten a lot better over the past 2 years. She was wrestling Casey Catanzaro, local favorite,
local girl,
who still has a ways to go, and was kind of the Rey Mysterio to Shayna Baszler's regular sized wrestler. I didn't realize how small Casey Catanzaro was, but she's very tiny.
What is she, like 5'3"?
Yeah, something like that. She had to wrestle like it too. Like she was busting out like the Rey Mysterio faces the Giant moveset, basically, in this one. But it was really good. Who else did I see? Punishment Martinez, who I had no inclination of, because I'm not a Ring of Honor guy, wrestled Keith Lee. That was an excellent match. A lot of fun there. Keith Lee, also very fun in person. He is entered my echelon of top in-ring trash talkers during a match, and I was close enough to be able to hear all of it. So that was a good time. It was just a really good show. NXT is awesome. The main event, you guys, was a triple threat match for the North American Championship between Adam Cole, Matt Riddle, and Velveteen Dream. How dare they make me pick between arguably my 3 favorite NXT wrestlers in one match? We definitely started an all these guys chant as soon as that match started, because who are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick? I will say though, and this is so my problem is, and those of you that don't know me outside of this podcast might not realize that I am very introverted and shy. I don't like to put myself out there, especially amongst strangers. And I won't be the one to like get really involved and excited. And my wife and I have been cursed every wrestling show that we've ever been to. We always get stuck in the no fun section where people really aren't there to cheer and have a good time and chant and do all this other shit. I'll do it if people around me are doing it, but I can't.
You're not gonna
getting out there on my own. So what I'll say is, if you ever go to a wrestling event, have fun. Because by you having fun, other people around you will also have fun.
Yeah.
So just in case there's someone like me who wants to have fun and do all that stuff, but just is too self-conscious to do all that shit.
Much like an angry mob, it only takes one person to spark it.
That being said, I still stood and chanted along with Adam Cole when he came out because I wasn't going to be deprived.
Did you do the baby?
Oh, of course.
Oh, all right.
Of
That's
course.
all. Look, that's it. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Of course. But yeah, so that was my weekend. It was a good time.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You know what else is awesome? Guacamelee 2. So, believe it or not, Nintendo does have sales for their digital purchases every once in a while. You just got to go.
It is not on their games.
Right.
Barely ever. So.
Right. But I saw Guacamelee, like the super duper deluxe edition, for like $15. That's like, it's only like $20 to begin with. But I remember loving Guacamelee 1. And I said, well, it's Guacamelee 2. Like, it's more Guacamelee. Like, it's got to be more fun, right? And it is. This game is, of these Metroid style games, like this franchise is firing on all cylinders. One, it's hilarious. Like, it's so corny and, you know, with these cornball jokes, but it is genuinely a game that I kind of laugh out loud at, which is very difficult to, you know, get somebody to laugh through text. But all the characters have like personality, you know what I mean? Even the silent protagonist, Juan, has personality. The game starts off with the end boss battle from the first Guacamelee. It's just that you're like super powered up, and it literally picks up from there. And it turns out, and then it jumps 7 years later. Juan is all out of shape. He looks like me right now, right? He's got a couple kids. He's got a gut kind of hanging out the bottom of his shirt, you know. And but the little goat man comes and's like, hey, Juan, you know, you're the savior of Mexico. I need your help. And then all of a sudden you see these black rifts open, and the goat man is like, come with me. And they jump into these rifts, and you find out that there's actually a Mexiverse, and there are different timelines. There are different Mexicos and different timelines. And in the darkest timeline, the villain of the first Guacamelee actually won. He defeated Juan, and a different luchador came in and defeated the bad guy. But it turns out that luchador got a little, like, he got a big head and shit, and now he's the villain. So you have to stop Salvador from destroying the Mexiverse. And it's fucking silly. It's silly, but it's cute. The game itself is just, it is tight platforming. It is the Metroid style that you have grown accustomed to, even with the Mexican versions of the Chozo statues and shit. The big thing with this one is that it's 4-player co-op, which I've seen videos of people playing this thing 4-player co-op. I would not recommend you play this 4-player co-op.
Yeah, I'm like, how the hell does that work?
It is, because inevitably, like, it requires too much precise timing and midair movements, and the camera looks like it does its best to hold on all 4 people at the same time. So you kind of pretty much all have to like be on point and just move as a unit. Nah, I would not recommend it. The other big thing is the chicken. So in the first game, the morph ball of that game was you transforming into a chicken, right? To get into cramped spaces. In this game, you can still do that, but the chicken has powers. Like, you can fight as the chicken, whereas you couldn't do that before. Like, the chicken can, and there are certain dungeons that are chicken only dungeons. Like, you can't transform back into Juan, and there are certain things that the chicken can do that Juan can't do. And look, this, long story short, if you like Metroid style games, I mean, this is it. This is I loved Guacamelee, and I love Guacamelee 2. It's only $20. Get it. And when's the last time you've seen like, you know, like a world like this? You know what I mean? Like a world that is, we scream about, you know, diversity and shit like that when it comes to video game characters and stuff like that. Like this is very much Mexican. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's, look, I'm not Mexican. I don't have that like heritage and stuff like that, but it feels like it appreciates that culture and has fun with it also. So yeah, buy this game, man. It's really good.
Yeah,
I
bought it on
Switch. Like it's the perfect Switch game.
Very cool. And the only thing that sucks though is I don't want to get trophies. That's the only downside.
Yeah,
with playing on the Switch.
And you know, with the Switch, they do have an achievement system, but like,
right,
it
means nothing.
Right, like
it means nothing.
It's an in-game achievement system. Like, yeah, I know, I did it. I want other people to see that I did it.
Said Bloodstain's coming out like really soon too, by the way. Speaking of this style.
Is it? I thought they completely like revamped the graphics. Is that's the game where they like went back to the drawing board and like revamped the graphics of it and all that good shit?
I'm sure that they did. Yeah, we missed that story. The actual release date for, because remember, like the fucking like 8-bit Bloodstain came out.
Yeah.
Already couple weeks. Yeah, June 18th is when that releases, and then
quick.
June 25th on the Switch. Well, I mean, the game's been been crowdfunded for 4 years.
Well, yeah, not quick. It's I haven't been thinking about it, and now it's like, here it is. It's coming.
Man, I really hope it's good, because like I said, I would be totally. Yeah, and yes, Terrence, you are correct, by the way. They did revamp the art style to make it a little bit more detailed with a little bit more contrast and high res. I hope it's good, because I love this style of game, and especially love the like the music from the Castlevania game. So if they stay faithful to that, then I will dig it quite a bit. But that's a ways away. There's some stuff that's coming out this week for you guys, new release wise. Sonic Team Racing, the bastard child to Crash Team Racing, is coming out next month. It's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Killing Floor double feature, which includes Killing Floor 2 and I think the expansion that came out for that, comes to PS4 and Xbox One. Everybody's Golf VR comes to the PlayStation 4 VR. We talked last week about Dauntless releasing on console. Again, a free-to-play game. That's very.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, PS4 and Xbox One.
I'm looking forward to that tomorrow.
The buzz is good. I will, again, if it's free, I will at least play it, because I enjoyed, or I wanted to enjoy Monster Hunter, but I was turned off by its sheer complexity.
Yeah, this one is way streamlined.
Yeah, apparently Dauntless does away with a lot of that kind of shit. So, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is coming to Nintendo Switch this week for some reason. It came out on other consoles a couple weeks ago. And then the Resident Evil Origins Collection comes to Switch. And then in addition to that, you can also buy Resident Evil 0, which comprises the Origins Collection, and Resident Evil 4 individually in the Nintendo eShop. So if you really want to play classic Resident Evil games on the Nintendo Switch and you've been just fucking hankering for it, you are being taken care of this week.
I played Resident Evil 4 probably 10 times.
Are you gonna buy a Switch and play it 11, Terrence?
No, I'm fine. I've gotten my RE4 fill for life probably, but who knows? If it's like $2, it's possible I really love that game. It's possible I might play it again.
It is not $2, just so you know.
Yeah, well,
it is $30 on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, for Resident Evil 4.
For Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, all of them, if you buy them individually, are 30 each. The Origins Collection, which only has 2, or Resident Evil 1 and 0, is 60.
Resident Evil 4 is $30 on Switch.
It is.
If you want it by itself. Nigga, shut up.
There's still milk in that cow.
Terrence, it's a convenience fee. You could play it anywhere you want.
A convenience fee of what, $25? That's crazy. Nah, no thanks.
So like I said, you've been playing the recent Resident Evil games, and you're like, man, like they really ruined the controls by getting rid of the really stiff tank controls in this series. And you can return to what brought you. So the news for this week, we've been touching on this Riot Games situation where employees have been pushing them to end the forced arbitration policy and move to being able to litigate against the company for wrongdoing. There was a massive walkout last week, right as we were recording the show is basically when it happened. And to protest this. So despite this, Riot has said that it's not going to be changing its arbitration policy while there's active litigation going on. So they said that there is currently litigation still happening under this system. They have to keep the policy in place while it's going on. They did say that new employees that come in will not be forced to this will not be forced into this forced arbitration. But for existing employees, they're not changing the policy until current litigation is over. A lot of people say this is bullshit. According to legal experts, once a arbitration case has begun, it is actually very difficult to end it. It would take moving it to a different state or just outright canceling and refiling in order to do that, which would lead to the people affected, the employees in this case, having to draw this out even longer than it currently does. So I do kind of understand where they're coming from, but it is a really bad look, and their staff is apparently looking at continued action to protest what's going on at Riot Games right now.
I mean, I wonder what happens at the are you just so excited that you are working in the industry that you love and because you have to you're told about the forced arbitration at the beginning, when you're hired, right? I would think so. And when I hear things like that, it doesn't sit well with me. I mean, do you think people fall into this just because it's difficult to get jobs in this industry?
I mean, Riot Games is a pretty high profile job, though.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, when I see something like forced arbitration, do you think? My question is, do you think that if on the interview, right? Hey, we offered you a job here, but just be aware. Do you think they tell you, hey, you're not allowed to seek legal, ramifications if, I'm not saying it will, but if something were to happen, you have to go through an arbiter, not the legal system. Do you think people are told that up front? I don't know how you would do that without it sounding weird.
As someone who has been responsible for onboarding employees at my place of employment, yes, I have basically explained the resolution system to people in the past. There's a way to not make it weird. That being said, it is I'm sure it's in whatever employee handbook you're given or whatever, policy thing you're given when you first go to work there. And the problem is that that shit is probably written in a very boilerplate legalese.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not trying to victim blame. It sucks, and I'm not trying to victim blame, but at the same time, nobody expects to have to take their employer to court. So I figured maybe you don't really,
right. Well, and you could argue, because I've been reading stuff here and there because Kotaku's been doing a lot of good work on this specific story, and some of the dumb shit that's going on, it's the thing that I've heard it compared to is it's got a very startup culture vibe, and what I mean by that is a vibe of fucking white kid 20-somethings that just started their own company because they just made this new product, and it's kind of a very frattish sort of atmosphere. And so I think what one of the problems that Riot has done that's kind of led them into this is that they're not doing enough to curb the people at the top that are committing the bad behavior.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's one thing to it sucks because it seems like it's the rank and file people. It's the it's the people that don't have the power to do anything about it that are the ones getting kind of caught in the wake here.
Yeah,
a little bit. Shitty situation all around.
Yeah, don't be dicks, man. I mean, it's the easiest. It's the easiest rule to live your life by. Just don't be a dick.
Is
But
it
people
what if
just
you're naturally a dick?
Nah, yo. I mean, you need to develop a skill set into not being a dick. Like that should be a part of your training. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, personally, I like Jay's philosophy on life is that everybody should be punched in the face at least once.
Yeah, man.
Because typically people that are assholes walk around like they had never been punched in the face.
Yeah, that is true.
And usually if you've been punched in the face, it prevents you from doing behavior that would potentially cause you to get punched in the face by somebody. Because you're like, oh man, I remember when I got punched in the face. That really sucked. I don't want to get punched in the face again.
Right.
So
that's all it takes.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
The pirate ship simulator coming from Ubisoft called Skull and Bones is being delayed. It's going to be launching in spring 2020 at the earliest. It will not be shown off at this year's E3 Expo. Just a reminder that the game was initially showed off at E3 2017. And now it is potentially 3 years later before that game is going to release. This is the second year-long delay that the game has suffered under the past year. So,
meanwhile, apparently, what's the game by the terrible game that I played? That's
No Man's Sky.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves apparently is way better than it was when it first came out because they added so much content.
My No Man's Sky joke is apt, then, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean,
but the thing is, I still don't think Terrence is going to be playing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves anytime.
That's not going to happen at all, ever again. I don't give a fuck how good it is. No. So yeah, next year. That doesn't make sense. But okay.
Micah, you'll appreciate this tweet from the official Skull and Bones account, and I'm quoting here, quote, "We're going to batten down the hatches and push back the game's arrival. This is challenging news for us all, but it's what's needed to make Skull and Bones as awesome as it can be."
You know, it's one thing to deliver bad news. That sucks. But to deliver bad news in a bad pun, I mean, you're asking people to not buy your game.
So interesting speaking of development turmoil, interesting developments in the Call of Duty franchise. So normally everyone, I'm sure, is aware, if you listen to this podcast, that Call of Duty is an annual release, but there's actually 3 to 4 different studios that work on the game that kind of rotate releases so that each game that comes out is on a 3-year development cycle. This past year was Treyarch's Call of Duty Black Ops 4. This year is going to be the Infinity Ward Call of Duty, the yet unnamed Call of Duty, but it's kind of an open secret that it's Modern Warfare 4 at this point. But Jason Schreier of Kotaku, man, let me pause in a second real quick. We give Kotaku a lot of shit on this podcast, rightfully so, and we're still going to. Don't get us wrong. But Jason Schreier is a mensch and a fantastic fucking journalist, and they should be lucky to have him because he alone elevates the reputation of that website by an exponential value.
Yeah,
that can't even be quantified, honestly. But apparently the issue here is that the game that's slated for 2020, which is being co-developed by Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software. Raven Software for the longest time has been a support studio for the Call of Duty franchise, but they have been given a leadership role now. Apparently that's not going very well though. And what they're doing is Treyarch has now been shifted into position as the lead developer of this game, which is supposed to release in 2020. So now Treyarch has kind of taken the reins. I'm assuming they're going to continue getting support from the other 2 studios, but they are now charged with finishing this game that is supposed to be next year's Call of Duty release on a much tighter time frame than they're typically accustomed to having to do.
Oh, so that means they're going to be doing more crunch. That's great.
Well, I think what's happening is that what I glean from this report is that Treyarch is basically going to be handling the multiplayer component of the game, and the other studios are going to just simply focus on the single player story campaign that the game is going to have.
Oh, so that whole not having a single player thing didn't work out for them.
Well, no. Apparently, that was not intended to be the way the entire franchise would go. Because apparently, this year's Call of Duty game is going to have a single player campaign. So we shall see. The other interesting part about this is that they have talked about possibly testing the waters on some free-to-play aspects of Call of Duty as well. So,
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I'm curious as to what those free-to-play aspects are.
We'll see.
You know,
I mean, they already make you pay $60, and you got those fucking boxes that you collect now, right?
What if they go crazy and just have like energy, like as a free-to-play model?
Like health?
No, like for most free-to-play games, like
like on a cell phone game, once your energy runs out, nigga.
Once your energy runs out, you gotta wait for it to recharge, or you gotta give them some more money to play your game.
I would they would riot.
We'll see. I mean, it is interesting to see Call of Duty of all franchises seem to be in a bit of a rocky state, because that for the longest that was, Mr. Dependable for the longest time, right?
Yeah, that's like.
Are people getting tired of it yet?
Sales would suggest no. to be quite frank, I think I think if you talk to gamers, it seems like it. But that game continues to just fucking sell like fucking hotcakes every year. And even though Activision did say this past iteration did not sell as well as they thought that it was going to, it still's a monster every year. So
I don't understand. I don't get it. It should have been coming out for every year for the last 12 years.
Modern Warfare
2008,
or the original Modern Warfare came out in 2008. Yeah, so it's been about
11 years. Yeah, god damn.
About 12 iterations. So Epic Game Store has been all over the news all the time. Most of it has been a kind of a mismatch just because of all these exclusive deals and stuff they're running. Well, they did something a little surprising this past week. They decided to run a sale where if you bought any game over $14.99, you would get $10 off. Problem is, they didn't tell anybody about it as far as the game publishers go. Yeah, and developers.
They were like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
So what had happened, a lot of developers were temporarily pulling their games off of the Epic Game Store, including Borderlands 3, to come off of the store during the duration of this sale. Now, you may be saying, why would they do this? Because apparently Epic is the one that's eating the loss on here. Like, they're not passing that on to the developers. They're just saying, hey, no, we'll eat the loss. It's not a big deal, to try to get more sales. But the reason that they're doing this is because, unfortunately, if you take a game, especially an unreleased game, like Borderlands 3, for example, and you have a bunch of people buy the game for what equates to $49.99, because apparently this worked with pre-orders too. How the fuck? I have no idea. But yeah, that's how much the product is worth at that point when you do it that way. So the reason why that typically partnerships are made with publishers and developers when you are doing sales is because they're the ones that they don't want to devalue their product because of something arbitrary that you are doing.
Yeah.
So because then if someone's like, well, someone, my friend got it for $49.99, so I'm not paying $59.99 for it.
Yeah,
because my friend got it for $49.99. Like that's the kind of shit. So
yeah, you can't do that before the game comes out.
No, I don't even know if you can do it when. I mean, again, it's just fucking wild that they didn't say anything about this. That's the thing that's crazy. So I guess Epic's saying, hey, live and learn, and we'll figure it out. But
I think they said that if whoever got the game for the $10 off, they still honored that.
Yeah, apparently
once they pulled the game, they were like, "Nah, fuck that."
Yeah, anyone who picked up one of these games before they got pulled off the store, there was several that did. The companies are still honoring the pricing. But still, it's kind of funny that they're just like, yeah, it's on sale, but we're not gonna partner up with anybody. We're just gonna do a fucking mega sale. Because I guess they just looked at the Steam sale and just assume that exists inside of a vacuum.
Yeah, well, that's how this works, huh? You just flat bam, just reduce prices and don't have to think about anything else.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Tweet from Randy Pitchford. Too epic. I don't know why you guys would try to fuck me on this.
Oh my god,
that fucking dude.
Quite frankly, I'm surprised they honored it. To the people that were quick. To the people that were quick, man.
Why are you guys trying to fuck me with this clickbait sale that you guys have going? Totally unfair. Now I'm gonna have to put microtransactions in the game when I said I wouldn't to make $10 back. So, finally, a bit of big news in the gaming world that doesn't really move our needle, I don't think, too much. Minecraft is entering into the AR space with Minecraft Earth, which is coming to beta later this year. There's a big long article that we have linked in our show notes, and you guys can look at that if you'd like to, because I'm not going through this whole fucking thing because it's AR Minecraft basically. So yay, like you'll be able to find mines at places where you're just walking around. So my question for you guys is, do you think that AR Minecraft has the potential to be the phenomenon that Pokemon Go was when Pokemon Go came out?
You know what?
What do you do? Do you just
explore and
Minecraft
and look at shit?
Characters just walking around your neighborhood and on your phone?
Yeah. You can see like building. I'm assuming you can also make your own shit as well. One would assume it is Minecraft, so I would assume you'd be able to build your own constructs in the world around you.
Yeah.
And then do what?
Let people check it out, I guess. Like I'm assuming that stuff that you build will remain persistent in the world.
What's going to prevent me from just knocking it down?
I don't know.
Because that's
it's not like you're collecting anything like fucking Pokemon. You just
right. Like there's a hook.
You're looking at blocks. Put the steeple on top of my house. Look at that. Look at that through my phone. Okay. Whatever, go to school, nigga. Like what?
but Terrence, there'll be mines. You can go into mines that are just around you and mine for ore
in your basement.
Sure, why not? Why not?
You're just stupid.
I mean, I don't know what. Look. I if you would have told me about Pokemon Go, I wouldn't think that it would have been as big as it was. Because I don't, follow that fandom. I don't follow Minecraft's fandom either, but I'm told that it's still pretty big.
Well, so there was a good point, and I think this was made. I want to correctly attribute credit. I think when I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily when this story came out, they talked about the fact that the thing Pokemon had an advantage of is they had like literally 2 to 3 generations of people that had been playing Pokemon at that point who dreamed of having something like Pokemon Go, where you could literally go out into the world and be a Pokemon trainer and catch Pokemon and battle Pokemon and do what they do in the game, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas with Minecraft, like, I don't know of any kid that's just like, man, wouldn't Minecraft be cool if I could do Minecraft in the real world? You know what I mean? Like I don't see the same hook there. Now I'm sure that we are all incredibly wrong, and this game will sell, it's not going to cost anything to play, but I'm sure they'll make a fucking ass ton of money through microtransactions and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't seem to have the same wow factor to me as like Pokemon Go. Like you can also like collaborate with people. So like if you're in the same space with multiple people, like you can collaborate on builds together, stuff like that. So
plus, Minecraft doesn't have the same how is Elizabeth Warren gonna tell people to Minecraft go to the polls? Like it doesn't it doesn't work.
Good. That's a good thing that she won't be able to gleam on to whatever the latest video game craze is out there in the world. So not upset about that.
Like I just want to see how it works and what Like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, what is the outcome? Like, what enjoyment are you going to get out of walking around your neighborhood, seeing Minecraft blocks in the street or on the sidewalk? I don't get it. Phones aren't that big.
I mean, what enjoyment do you get out of Minecraft? Like I'm assuming it's whatever enjoyment you get out of Minecraft is what you're gonna get out of, Minecraft mobile.
No, but it's not Minecraft mobile.
All right, Minecraft augmented reality.
It just doesn't make. I don't get it. Whatever. Like we'll see. It just doesn't seem like a viable thing to me. But then again, Fortnite is like the biggest game in the world, and I don't get that either.
Yeah, so, but there's a point to Fortnite, right?
Like, I don't see the point to the game. You're right. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't see a fucking point.
Well, Terrence, good news. Part of this announcement apparently is that Minecon is coming back in September, so perhaps you can go and be like the field
close to Minecraft, and I don't like that. So nah, I'm good. All right.
Oh my god!
Wow.
And considering the controversy lately with Notch,
yeah,
pretty good joke. Good joke. Very nice. So look, that's not the only place on the TNP Studios network where Terrence gets to make jokes. If you are not a premium member, you can go to densepixels.com/premium today. Sign up for just $5 a month or $50 for the entire year to get access to our premium slate of shows. A recent episode, No Time to Bleed, has been resurrected from the dead.
Yeah.
And you guys tackled the very lighthearted Rambo 4 this past week under the suggestion of Terrence.
Look.
It's
a great episode.
Hey, the challenge was laid. Can No Time to Bleed get a hilarious, typically hilarious episode out of really fucking heavy and sad subject material? You'll have to tune in to find out. Again, densepixels.com/premium. Don't forget to follow all the TNP Studio Network shows on whatever app you use to get podcasts. Subscribe to us, subscribe to the Nerdopocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, and Coming Distractions, again, on whatever app that you listen to podcasts on. And of course, don't forget to go to youtube.com/densepixels, subscribe on the channel, and ring the bell icon. We release this podcast in video format every single week. Whenever I do live streams, seldom though that may be, it is through the Dense Pixels YouTube channel, and there's a few other things up there as well. So again, youtube.com/densepixels. The biggest story this week that I wanted to talk about, of course, was the announcement that Sony and Microsoft are teaming up on cloud gaming that they just announced this past Wednesday. Now, there's a lot of immediate internet speculation that rose when this announcement was made. It was a dual statement by both companies, and you have Kenichiro Yoshida and Satya Nadella, which are the two CEOs of the company. They sent a picture of them shaking hands in this press release. A lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, the one console future's coming! Sony and Microsoft are teaming up." No, that's not at all what this is. So, long story short, you guys that have been with the show for a long time, that have followed the gaming news, know that Sony bought a company called Gaikai to assist with their streaming services, because they figured streaming would be a big deal down the pipe. And they did this a few years ago. That, of course, led to the creation of PlayStation Now. And PlayStation Now, not the best streaming platform if you talk to people that have used it in the past. It's a little inconsistent. Performance is not great. And as much of a problem as Microsoft has had this console generation, one area that they are clearly dominating in is cloud performance with their Microsoft Azure cloud streaming services that they provide.
Speaking of which, that's actually what that Minecraft augmented reality thing is going to be using.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, case in point. The cool thing is that Sony is like, well, why the fuck are we going to sit here and bash our heads against the wall and fuck this shit up constantly when we can just pay the company that's doing it the best to just do it for us? So they're like, cool, we're gonna contract Microsoft to use Azure for streaming services. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems smart.
Yes, I was supposed to say smart business.
Now, what I attribute this to though is kind of I feel like that Sony especially, and maybe Microsoft to a lesser extent, is a little bit shook by Google Stadia and whatever Amazon potentially might have coming down the road as well. What do you guys think about this?
Do you think they're well, I guess I didn't think of I totally forgot about Stadia.
Yeah, me too.
But clearly they didn't. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because I don't really see them kind of entering this space for out of the goodness of the gamers, right? Like
nor do they want to give Microsoft money, I'm
right,
sure, honestly.
Right. So. Right. So yeah, maybe that is it. Yeah, wow. Damn. I'm mad I didn't think of that.
Terrence.
I don't know. Look, I like streaming again. Streaming games,
like it's not.
You have to have the right. You gotta have the speed.
We don't have the infrastructure for it.
That's what I'm saying. That's my thing. Like Azure, whatever. I don't care. Like I'm unless I have Google Fiber, I'm not gonna be able to do it consistently. And like
no, you can.
Me?
You have Fios, don't you?
I have, yeah, but it's not. I don't have I have to upgrade my tier.
Oh.
But still, like I'd rather not. Like I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
So
because anything could happen.
So if
I don't like losing, that's a game, and it's not my fault.
Yeah, you're gonna be playing a bunch of single player games. Is what you're gonna be doing.
Right? Like what the fuck?
So speculative now. Obviously, if Sony decides to incorporate this into their current implementation of PlayStation Now, does that all of a sudden make the service more attractive or appealing to you guys?
You
or
know what would make it more appealing if they knock $10 off of that motherfucker?
Hey, you not wrong.
Yeah, like I might get it if it was $10. I might use it now, but like $20 a month, no, nigga, nah. Don't like. First of all, my system it's not consistent enough, and it's $20. No, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, if Azure actually makes it better, if the streaming is better through that. Again, I don't even know anybody that uses PlayStation Now.
To be fair, I don't either. I don't know. I
did the 7-day trial, and I'm like, nope. Mm-mm.
Do you know what I did it for? I did my trial because when Borderlands: The Handsome Collection was coming out, I did it only to see if I could use the streaming Borderlands 2 to upload my save data from my PS3 and then upload that so that I could copy it over to the Handsome Collection when it came out, and I could not. So
I was like, well, fuck this.
Yeah, that was the extent of my trial of PlayStation Now.
How was the performance of PlayStation Now?
Oh, this was years ago. It wouldn't even be fair to pass judgment on it, honestly.
I did it like maybe 3 months ago, and I played 3 games. I played that like Ninja Gaiden Yaiba or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Played Melty Blood and something else. The fighting game, absolutely not. No. I might have been playing like a 5-frame delay in single player. Nah, yo. Yaiba there was a slight delay. It was maybe like a half a second.
Yeah, but that's a character action game, man. Like,
yeah, I'm like, nah.
You need
my internet isn't the worst, so I was like, no, this is not good. And for $20, it's not worth it. It isn't. I know there's like 400 games on there now or some shit like that. It's not worth it.
But Game Pass worked very well for you, did it not?
No, Game Pass, you download the game. It's not streaming.
Oh shit, really? Okay.
Yeah. You just like apparently Game Pass is knocking it out of the park. Because they're like putting games on there that you would like. They have what's that game? It's first person shooter. Wolfenstein 2 is on there now.
Mm-hmm.
Like third party people are putting their shit on there. So, and that's what, $9.99 a month, or like $60 a year.
Oh, you know what?
Really
While we're on this Game Pass thing, allow me to have a brief tangent to members of the group. Here's what I'll say to you. I love our community. The densepixels.com/fans is a fantastic group, and I appreciate all that you guys keep posting in there. But please do not share stories that have terrible clickbait headlines in them from one particular website that I loathe more than any others. So the Anthem story that went up is people were like, EA thinking about making Anthem free to play. And I was like, interesting. So I click on the story, and what the story was actually about was EA contemplating putting Anthem on the EA Game Pass service ahead of the normal 6-month delay that they normally do for the EA Game Pass service. That is not the same thing as free to play because you pay for EA Games Pass.
But it's like $5.
It may be. It's not free. It's not like I could go into the PlayStation store and download Anthem if I never had it before and just start playing it for free. That's not the same thing.
Who wrote that article? Randy Pitchford? Like, you don't know what like free to play has a certain connotation, right? Like we all know what free to play is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not yo. That's like saying Wolfenstein is free to play if you have Game Pass.
Right.
So, like, yo, that's not the same thing.
So again, it's like I said, share the news, but do it from give your clicks to a website that deserves them and not that are prone to writing shitty, inaccurate clickbait headlines.
I read that article. That article was full of what ifs and if this, then that. Like it was full of just like mathematical functions. Just if this happens, then this might happen. And if this happens, then that might happen. Like, yo, get out of here, man.
Like I said, don't let facts get in the way of a good narrative, I guess. So,
Jesus Christ.
I was really angry that I clicked on that article too. So mad once I started. I was like, man, I'm looking at the website. I know that they're full shit in the past, but I got to read the story, and I immediately regretted it upon reading it. I should have known better. Should have trusted my instincts. So, Terrence, you're up.
Oh, right. Apparently, the Division 2's first raid was impossible for console players when it first came out. Yeah, I read the article. What was it, Saturday? That article came out. But since then, people have already beaten it. So it's
two teams have beaten it since then.
That's still really fucking low. It is, to be honest with you. Like that, there had to be like a coordinated SEAL Team 6 effort.
What was the issue?
The article basically says raids are meant to be hard. Well, basically, from what I read, when you do raids in other games, your equipment level has to be at a certain point. It has to be high enough to like beat a raid. In this one in particular, though, the equipment level is like what, 500?
Yeah, which is the maximum gear score you can.
The maximum gear score that you can obtain right now is 500. Essentially, you have to be at 500. Like if you're any lower than that, don't bother. But also, you have to be. All of your skills have to be in like DPS, which is essentially what this game is at this point. Like DPS is king in Division 2. But the way the game is designed, they were saying on PC, like you have more fine aim in PC. Like you can turn around quicker. Well, PC mouse and keyboard, your aim is always better. But the way that the raid is designed, like enemies are coming at you from all sides and kind of hard to turn around, and like they can drop you in like not one hit, but like one volley of shots. And some of the bosses were really fucking hard to take down. But you can't really you can't over level your characters. It's like everybody in the raid is at 500 and you're at 500, so everything's even. And people were like, the way the like mouse and keyboard is, again, you can aim a lot better, but a controller itself is kind of hard to aim.
Well, and
certain enemies and things
to
like
that point. So, and you guys played the first division, so you'll know what they're talking about here. Is that certain bosses had like target points on their chest, right? That you had to shoot them before they could heal, and it was apparently so difficult to fucking hit that shit. Like people on console were having trouble getting past the first boss of the raid, which is essentially a level check.
They had a YouTube. They have a YouTube video of this team. It took them like 10 minutes to beat the first boss, and they just barely did it because at one point they got to a point where the boss was about to heal himself again, but they got it like at the last second, and they were able to take his shields down to drop him, and that was the first boss. And I don't know how many bosses are in the raid. Like 3 or 4.
4. It's 4 encounters total.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm all for like difficulty, but and
again, remember, it's an 8-person raid, so you have to find 7 friends that are also max level and fucking gear builds to the DPS builds to the max.
Yeah, and they don't do matchmaking for raids.
No, which I mean, thank God. Apparently, with as fucking difficult as it was.
So essentially, you have to roll with the crew that you've rolled with, like, or you got to find a crew. So I guess it's kind of like Destiny, but Destiny's only 4, right?
6. It's 6, which is fucking hard as it is. Believe me, to fucking find 5 other people that are capable of putting the time in and have the ability to clear the raid. I can't even fucking imagine 8 people
fighting 8 people. I mean, It's not like you got puzzles, because essentially puzzles in this game is just hitting a button.
Like Reddit was fucking losing it apparently. Like they were even fucking calling out the developers, like, you show us a video of you guys beating it on console, because this shit is impossible.
But it since has been done. I mean, again, only 2 teams. That's still goddamn.
So 2 on PS4 and 4 on Xbox have beaten it as of now, essentially.
Okay.
On PC, meanwhile, they're down to beating it in 30 minutes, apparently.
Damn.
I mean, so they put themselves in a rock and a hard place, right? So with the raid, you have 2 ways you can do it. Either you can you can keep it at the level that players are maxed at, but then raise the maximum level. And they didn't want to do that because they didn't want people to have these builds that they spent hours and hours and hours farming for to just all of a sudden be fucking worthless now that you've tacked on 15 points to your maximum score. So that's one way that you can do it. The other way you can do it is to drop the power level of the raid to like 485 if everyone's max 500. But then if you're 500, you're just gonna fucking roll through like it's no big deal.
Right.
So by waiting so long to do the raid, and to be clear, like Destiny, for comparison's sake, puts their raids out no more than a week of a new expansion coming out or of the game releasing. With the next season that's coming out, they're going to have the raid available 6 hours after the new season starts for Destiny, for example.
Jesus.
So the downside of waiting so long is you put yourself in a rock and a hard place where it feels like you have to do one of those 2 things. The thing that gets me with the Division's raid is, and again, I'm ignorant here, and people that play the Division maybe could explain to me why people want to do this. In Destiny, which is my frame of reference, the raid is the most efficient way to gear up characters, because the raid is not usually a max level activity, but you're guaranteed, powerful gear to drop during and afterwards.
Yeah, there's a reason to do it.
Right. In Division, it seems like the reason for doing the raid is just to do the raid.
Right, because when you beat a boss in a raid, they just drop 500 gear, but you're already at 500.
Right. So like
unless you're going to drop an exotic in a fucking
right. If there's like exclusive raid weapons or stuff like that, okay, cool, I get that. But at the same time, what's the fucking point of that? Because again, if Division 2 seems so focused on making these very specific builds that you want to get all gear that helps you make this build that specializes in, I guess, DPS, because that's the only thing that's worth the damn fucking doing. Don't make a skill build, because you're gonna be fucking useless if you want to go to the raid. I just don't see the purpose other than to do it. You know what I mean? So,
I mean,
they'll figure it out. I mean, this is their first shot at something like this. So
they had a couple raids in the first game.
They had what were they called, incursions in the first game?
Something like that.
Yeah, those weren't full bore. Yeah, but those weren't full bore like raids like this is, I don't think. Unless I'm wrong, but people, when they announced that they were doing like legit raids, people seemed pretty excited. That makes me think that they were different than.
Yeah, I think they were different, because I remember that announcement where he was like 8-person raids and everybody lost their shit.
So, but yeah, if you,
I wonder what you get for beating it.
I don't know. Like
it's got to be cosmetic at this point, right? If all your shit is the same goddamn level as you already have.
Yeah, they seem to be in a weird place right now. The game's been out for 2 months. I mean, like I said, this raid just released. When is the next bit of like new content coming for that game? I don't know. Like I said, I'm ignorant to Division because I don't play it, so I can't really speak with any expertise. I know there's a couple people in the fan group that play, so maybe you guys can educate us as to what's keeping you in Division 2 at this point, 2 months in. And especially because and the other problem too with the raid is that the people that have the builds to do this, these are the people that have put in like 200 hours into the game in the first 2 months. I can't see if you're Joe Schmo gamer that maybe got to max level, but you haven't had time to farm like that. Are you ever going to be able to touch this until the gear score increases?
No. This was on sale this week. I was this close to buying it, knowing that I don't like this franchise.
Yeah, it was an Ubisoft sale.
Yeah.
I think it was like $40.
I'm sure you are glad you didn't. So
I'm real glad I didn't. So
we turn to the post office. We asked you guys to give us some gaming questions. We'll answer a few on the show this week. Not a gaming question, but I'll let you guys answer this question because I have no frame of reference to this. Johnny asks, why is Joe Budden always so goddamn mad? I don't even know who Joe Budden is, honestly.
He's a rapper turned podcaster.
Oh, okay. Apparently, does he yell a lot, I guess?
He does.
Yeah, he does. He kind of sounds like this, and it's a voice that you wouldn't expect to come out of.
Yeah, kind of out of his mouth. It's fucking wild. He's old. No, he's not even old, really. He's just
he's our age.
That old.
He's 38, no 39 or something like that.
You know why he's angry? You know why he's angry? Because people like that shit. Like that's all it is.
Oh, by the way, if you want to see a very angry rant that actually was performance art in the best way, go watch Stephen A. Smith's rant the morning after the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks. I was laughing my ass off. What do we get? What do the Knicks get? Like,
my godson is out in the hallway, and I don't even want to talk to him. It's worth seeking out there. It's a funny
on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's a fun. I fucking hate Stephen A. Smith, but that shit was fucking hilarious.
That shit was funny.
I'm not gonna lie.
That shit was funny. Yeah, well, that's what them fucking New Yorkers get, yo. You're not entitled to the number one pick. It's a lottery. Like, come on, yo. What about the Knicks?
What about the Knicks?
Like, all right.
No, but Joe Budden, he's just he's a rapper. And all these trash ass rappers are now, they suck.
Yeah, because you know why?
So it's kind of like, what the fuck?
He's a two-name guy. It's just Joe Budden, real name, no gimmicks. And now we got Lil Uzi Squirt and Schoolboy Q and Blicky that guy and all Tentacle Triple X or whatever. Like that's
all the names you just mentioned could have been completely made up, and I would still believe that they were real people. So.
I mean, I'm halfway there. I'm butchering some of them. I'm not butchering them by much though.
Brian
Plus
asked,
he's going to therapy for that.
Well,
yeah. Anyway,
Brian asks a question that he says he's not sure if it's ever been addressed. I don't think it has. What is the one game or series that you look at and say, I can't believe that I never got into that?
That I never got into it?
Yeah. See, that's a tough question for Micah. He buys everything.
I mean, I like to try stuff, but any RTS, any one of them. I've played StarCraft and StarCraft 2. I just my brain is too stupid, and I played the Civilization 6, right? Those were stripped down versions of Civilization, if I recall, right? Mm-hmm. Like they were simpler versions.
Civ Revolution.
Yeah, Civ Revolution. Yeah. I couldn't get into it. And everybody says that these games are just the bee's knees, man. Like I can do like RPG style, grid based strategy games, but not like real time strategy games. Like, because I get too focused on trying to build this thing, right? And then, oh yeah, those Zerg are coming. Like, oh well, oops, I should probably send some people to do that, and then this doesn't get done. I never got into it.
Me, I don't think I could answer that because I like what I like, and I can see something like, nah, I'm not gonna. Now, if I try something, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, then that's fine. But I never looked at something in the past and like, I really wish I would have played that. Nah, because if I wanted to, I would have. Yeah. So nah, there's really not much. There's really nothing, or any kind of series or anything like that.
For me, I think it's World of Warcraft because it came along at a time that I would have been very susceptible to getting to that kind of game. The only thing that kept me from it is that it was on PC. And I didn't own a computer that was good enough to play it, so it didn't even cross my state of mind. But I had a couple friends that played it; they all fucking swore by it. Plus, I also at that time would not have been able to wrap my head around paying a monthly subscription fee to play a video game.
I'm still not wrapping my head around that. Like on top of like, this is $15 a month, right?
It is
still.
Yep.
You have to pay an initial fee for it, right?
Not anymore.
But you download it and it's $15 a month.
Yeah, they have a basic edition that is you get like 80% of what's released so far, and then the only stuff you have to pay for is whatever the most recent expansion is. Yeah.
So you're paying $15 to keep a character on the servers,
pretty much. Yeah.
No thanks.
Fair enough.
Like, nah.
Ricky asks, how is the 0-hour mission in Destiny 2? I would not know, sir, because I have been lapsed for the past month or so. I need to get back into it though, because the season's about to end, and I need to still get the fucking recluse. And I do want to get that the outbreak perfected. So I missed a golden opportunity to hit max level this week too, because Iron Banner was going on, and I could have just fucking taken care of that. Amir says, what is another hobby or passion of yours that is not video games or podcasting? I'll go first just because most people know mine because it's all fucking contained within the network. Board games and watches. And check out Tabletop for Two and the Budding Watch Enthusiast. So.
Drawing. I like to draw. I haven't done it in about 20 years, but I'm looking to rectify it. I used to be pretty good, man. So now I have to see if I have it.
20 years?
Yeah, man. It's been. I haven't drawn anything. Well, no, not 20 years. It's been 20 years since I've like actively been drawing. Yeah. But it's probably been. When did I graduate college? 20
years.
Yeah, well, yeah, just about 20 years.
Like 17.
Last time I drew something, was like 2004, and look, I got my pens, and I got my pencils and shit. Like I'm fucking ready, man. I'm gonna get back into it, and then I'm gonna post it online, and then I'm gonna cry. And I'm gonna post it online with the caption, keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Pastimes besides video games. That's a good question. I'm boring. I don't play sports anymore. Shit. Passions? I don't really have any.
That's hard to believe. You no hobbies outside of video games?
Nah. Not really.
That just tells me Terrence into some weird shit that he doesn't want to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what that
No,
is.
seriously.
No, seriously.
Nah,
no, I'm not really protesting too much. No.
Do I? Nah. I'm boring. I watch movies. It's not a hobby though.
Yeah, you're a documentarian.
Sure, why not?
You're a documentary watch.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I wish I had more time to watch documentaries because that's the most that's the best films that I like watching anymore nowadays.
I'm watching the case against Adnan right now on HBO, and I already know the case, but it's interesting watching it visually, and all the people that were on the podcast are actually like you can see faces now. It's very strange.
So are they just redoing Serial or just expanding?
No. Well, they're expanding on it. Like he had a retrial or they redid his case in 2016. I don't know if he's going to have a retrial or not. I don't remember how that ended, but I think the actual documentary is going to tell us how that had ended. Because he just came out like 2 months ago. So and it's weird having them drive around like
Woodlawn because you're familiar with the area.
Yeah. Leakin Park. I'm like, yo, I was just down there yesterday. That's weird. Anyway.
Eric asks, with all the latest nerfs coming to Destiny 2, do you feel Bungie is taking steps backwards, or is it just the fan base overreacting? Are you guys privy to this information, by the way?
No, I've been out of the Destiny loop for months.
So they are nerfing a lot of exotic weapons and armor. Most notably, Ace of Spades is getting a mild nerf. Whisper the Worm is getting a pretty serious nerf. The regenerating super armor pieces are all getting nerfed pretty hard when the new season drops, because Bungie says the problem that they were running into is those in high level activities, those items were pretty much becoming like must picks, and they were literally having to design encounters around the fact that they knew people would be using those specific weapons and armor. And so they want to, and it's not a case of you can just make everything just more powerful, because then power creep becomes a problem that you have to address. So they just took these things that are, sweeping, Sleeper's also getting another nerf, and there's a few other ones as well. But they just took these things that are just getting used like constantly and just knocking them down a peg. As someone who uses Orpheus rigs very liberally in high-level encounters, this is going to affect me pretty greatly as well. And it's kind of a bummer. That being said, it's always fan base overreaction.
Yeah. Nobody likes change, man. Nobody. And
right.
no matter how big or small, no matter how important or inconsequential, nobody likes change. Until they get used to it, and then they get used to the change, and then they start exploiting it, and then it's like, oh well, now we got to change it again. What? Why are you changing this thing that I've always loved from the beginning? Like, all right, yo.
Right, and the thing they made, especially with the armor pieces specifically, is they made the point that the most powerful source of your super is supposed to come from orb generation by your teammates. But like these super regen items were so good that people were basically just like with Orpheus rig, if you were using the hold tether, you would basically just get your super right back. Like if you popped it into a crowd of enemies, like on the most recent raid, there are like, when you first walk into the second encounter, there's just a big group followed by a big group followed by a big group of enemies, and you can literally just drop a rig. All the first group of enemies is tethered. Get to the second group, drop a tether. Whole second group of enemies is tethered. Get to the third group, drop it. Like it's just like, that's just the strategy to do. It makes it really fucking easy.
Yeah, come on, yo.
Right, like, and that's breaking what they're trying to do.
And then people would complain that it's too easy. Like, yeah.
So, Justin said, "Can we talk about a bit of breaking news?" Now, listen, I just got done praising Kotaku, but I said that I wanted to give the praise mostly to Jason Schreier and not as much to Kotaku. Here's why. Here's a headline in this story that broke right before we recorded the podcast. The headline states, Epic Games Store will block your account if you buy too many games too quickly. Now, when you read that headline, you would think, oh man, sounds pretty insidious. No, it turns out that it's just their fucking fraud protection kicking in.
Yeah.
Basically.
The same thing that happens when you go to Bank of America and they see, 4 different purchases of $100 for gift cards. Like, whoa. What's going on here?
Right. and they freeze your card until you get a chance to sort that shit out.
Yeah.
Now, it is the Epic Game Store's fault. I'm not saying that they're not at blame here. This is a situation that could easily be remedied if you had this very high level fucking online shopping function called a shopping cart on your game store. So again, it's not, I'm not saying that it's ridiculous to be upset about this, but again, a better headline would be Epic Game Store fraud protection may kick in if you buy too many games too quickly. Not Epic Game Store will block your account if you buy too many games too quickly. That's not the same thing.
So wait a minute. If you buy like 5 games, they just
because you have to buy them
account?
Because you have to buy them individually one at a time.
Yeah, you have to buy them one at a time.
Okay.
Because they don't have a shopping cart option on the Epic Game Store yet. Coming soon.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's really stupid. Like that should be like the first thing. Like everything has a shopping cart.
Not the Epic Game Store, Terrence. It wouldn't be epic enough. We will end with Malcolm asking, and this is a non-gaming question, but it's fair. Which outcome did you like better, Money in the Bank or Game of Thrones?
I didn't see either one.
I
know the outcomes for both of them.
I forgot that Money in the Bank was yesterday.
Oh, neat! I watched that before I watched Game of Thrones.
So I well now that my wife, longtime Game of Thrones fan of 6 weeks ago, is wanted to watch it. We watched that. But I haven't got a chance to watch all of Money in the Bank, but I did get a chance to watch the last match at work today, and that match is all of Game of Thrones in 20 minutes.
You ain't lying, actually.
Like you see all these people that you like, some you don't like, some you hate, but they're being really good, right? Like Baron Corbin fucking exploded through a table. What's his name? Through a table, right? Like all this shit is really good, right? Then all of a sudden there's just a wait, what? Huh? There's a swerve right at the end, and you know that the creators are just laughing at you. Like that's Game of Thrones. I was completely whelmed with Game of Thrones. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine, pretty standard as far as a series finale goes. It's kind of like it's the come down. The penultimate episode is where all the shit happens, and then the last episode is usually the come down. And look, I'm not gonna shit on people who didn't like it. Like if you didn't like it, I get it, because the storytelling this year was just like, wrap it up, B. We gotta go.
See, I thought the Game of Thrones ending was actually good. I thought that to use wrestling parlance, they had booked themselves into a corner quite a bit, and I think that they resolved it in a way that it was as satisfying as you could have hoped for from that series, especially with, like Micah said, the how uneven this whole season 8 has been so far. Spoilers for Game of Thrones if for some reason you haven't watched it yet, but we're past the 24-hour moratorium, so fuck off, skip ahead 2 minutes if you want to hear it. The justification for why they picked Bran was correct to be the king. So I'm okay with that. Yeah,
he's essentially a robot that can see into the future. Like he doesn't have emotions, and he has like your fucking Thundercat sight beyond sight. And shit.
Right. And then Jon Snow, basically forced to, for lack of a better term, be a martyr for the greater good, is in line with the character that they crafted for him throughout 8 seasons.
Look, he had the exact same ending that Vic Mackey had at the end of The Shield. Vic Mackey was this fucking badass like cop, right? And the one thing he hated was being behind a desk. They got into some fucking crooked ass shit throughout the entire series, and instead of losing his job, he got a desk job. It's the worst thing for him to happen, right? Like essentially Bran told Jon Snow that he has to be a security guard at a dead mole. And it's like, okay, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? And then different people interpret the last part of the episode differently. Look, I thought he took the wildlings and was like, yo, I'm cool with y'all. Can I go hang out with y'all forever? And they were like, yeah, come on, bro. And
see, I thought he was just helping them find their way. Back into the wilds. Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Because guess
what?
Give
me the Arya Stark adventure series, and then we'll go from there. So
there you go.
That's what I want. Now, Money in the Bank, on the other hand, people groaned loudly when this shit happened. That's an understatement. Fucking Brock Lesnar coming in, so shock. So first of all, I had to say this: we bitch all the time about WWE doing the obvious thing all the time. Nobody fucking expected Brock Lesnar to show up.
Yeah,
and fucking grab that briefcase last night.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
By the way, the scuttlebutt, if you believe the dirt sheets, the wrestlers in the match didn't even know that Brock Lesnar was coming out to grab the briefcase. They knew that the person who was going to win wasn't in the match. They knew that much, that none of them were going to win, but they didn't know who was going to win.
Oh, I believe. You know what? I believe that.
So when Mustafa Ali as Mustafa Ali's getting ready to grab when Ali's getting ready to grab the briefcase, and you see the shocked look on his face when you hear Brock Lesnar's music, apparently that was legit.
Yeah, I believe it. And that was the same look that Malcolm had on his face.
Now, what I will say is Brock Lesnar having the Money in the Bank briefcase is actually very interesting, especially for a guy that doesn't show up on television ever. You know what I mean? So, like with him, you're not going to get like the false cash-ins, I don't think, but he will just appear out of nowhere, essentially. However, they do owe us an explanation as to how this is allowed to happen.
Yeah, I mean, come on, yo. Yo, people were so pissed online, man. Like, it's hilarious to me. But yeah. So when is the Saudi Arabia showdown or whatever?
June something. I don't watch that one out of
I don't watch that one, but something tells me that's a reason to get Brock Lesnar, over there, right? Like, I don't know. I won't be watching that one.
Terrence, which did you prefer as being a since day one Game of Thrones fan that you are?
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I know you don't. That's why it's gonna be a hard time.
Like, look, I'm just laughing at the vastly different responses. People are like, this was a perfect ending, and some people were like, this was the worst ending I've seen in TV history. I'm like,
was it though? Was it the worst ending you've ever seen in TV history? I don't know that it was.
I'm like, at this point, look, again, I don't watch it. Like, I've been upset by series finales. I'm like, well, that sucked, and I just move on. But are petitions going up for them to rewrite season 8? Like, shut up.
Dude, like I said, fan entitlement is a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing.
This is why nerds got picked on, because you want to have petitions signed to redo. Like you think them actors give a damn about you, yo? They don't. They ready to go to you.
Dude, I think fan entitlement might, and you guys could fucking check me down on this because I'll deserve it. I think it might exist on a tier above white privilege in terms of entitlement.
Let's not get too crazy.
I mean, I think it's a deadly combination. I think that.
Oh no, yeah, the two things combined is an unstoppable force.
I think that is a recipe for the greatest / worst heel tag team of all time.
Oh my god!
Their tandem special move is the All Lives Matter.
Oh my god, this question went into a delightful direction, and I'm here for it. So that is it for us this week. Thank you guys for posting your questions in the post office thread. If you would like to be in on the action whenever we do the post office, you have to be part of our fan group. It's densepixels.com/fans. You're going to want to be in there anyway. Trust me. All sorts of discussion going on in there every single day around all things gaming and pro wrestling. Make sure to follow us on social media. Search out @DensePixels. Again, whatever app you use to play podcasts, subscribe to the show as well as all the other TNP Studio shows. Go to youtube.com/DensePixels and subscribe to us there. Follow Terrence on Twitter at Apparition410. Follow Terrence on Twitch at Apparition410. You can follow him on Twitter too, but he doesn't tweet very much. Follow Carrie on Twitch as well at SupIt'sCarrie. That's it. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Take it easy.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.